I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And today, it's a great day in the studio, Crystal.
It is. It's a special day in the studio. We are honoring the founder of the organization that I'm the co-director of, Mr. Muhammad Nassardeen.
Amazing.
And we're going to bring in all of his people. He got a lot of fan club, man, and he was
great.
Pretty awesome when he was here. This would be a different world for in our community anyway if Muhammad was still here.
I hear that.
He was such a man that was so far advanced of his time. But and interesting enough, as we go through the day, some of the situations that are happening in our country today or in our community today was exactly the reason why he felt the need to launch Recycling Black Dollars.
And we see a lot of his footprint and handprints over many of these programs in the community.
Right, exactly. And then some that we didn't even know. Today I was doing a little research, so I can be on top, and I have some stuff that I'm going to read. There was articles on him. I actually even saw that in the his name and when he died was recorded at the Congressional 100th Records of Hall of Records in
Really?
D.C.
Wow.
He went to China. Yesterday I was meeting over at City National Bank, and so they wanted to know where did we bank, and I told him where I banked at Broadway Federal, and he was thinking, and I said, and I'm sure you understand the reason behind that.
Right.
I said, but even more than that, Muhammad had a Change Bank Day where he actually brought in over $600,000 that spread over 3 banks, black banks that were here in the city. And so that was based upon the amount of money that we actually bank and deposit in other banks, other commercial banks. So that he did that. He created a black April is actually Black Business Month, nationally recognized.
Yeah.
Right.
See, these are things that we all need to know. For those of you who are just tuning in to the Business Zone, this is the Business Zone, and it's on the Mars Media Live every Friday from 3 to 5 with Crystal and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And just in case you don't know what the Business Zone is all about, Business Zone is a platform that we provide for small businesses wherein opportunity come together and entrepreneurship to meet supply diversity and contract providers. That's exactly what Mr. Muhammad is all about, providing opportunities to small businesses and those who are dispossessed and don't have it. So,
and then making sure that we're supporting our own businesses as opposed to going to someone else's business. I mean, we all there are many of us here in this city that have quality businesses, but because that broad stroke, they go to one and they don't get the right services, and then that means I can't shop at any other black professional at all. I don't care where they are, right? So that was one of the things his push on. Hey, Jasandra, his push on patronizing black-owned businesses and making sure that we sustain. And one of the things he talked about is when you spend your dollars with our business, you're spending it and helping a family, because you're hiring hopefully a black person.
And see, this is what we've been talking about in our workshop. We talk about it here on the program. And I would just like you to talk a little bit more about this, Crystal, so the audience can get it. When we partner, when we team up, we help other businesses survive. We also help families survive. Now, one of the surprising statistics that we had, Crystal, which you talked about, which is just phenomenal, which we really need to step up our game and make sure that we're helping out in our community, is that the black dollar circulate how many times?
6 hours.
6 hours in the community, as opposed to other groups where their dollars circulate about 8 days or more.
Right, 17. In the Caucasian is unlimited, but in the Asian community, 17 times, which means you get your paycheck, presumably from somebody that looks like you. Then you go to the supermarket that is owned by someone is of your culture. Then you maybe go to the shoe store, you go to the cleaners, you go to the car wash, you go to the gas station. So you didn't circulate your dollars at the same time. Hopefully that means that in those businesses they're hiring people that qualified people that look like you.
Unbelievable.
And then those people are then taking their dollars and spending at the supermarket and getting their car washed and gas and the gardener and the window washer and whatever else, right?
And because we want to help to promote this is why Crystal and I, we have this program wherein we're helping out small businesses to become certified. We're also helping you to become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Now, our next workshop we're working on, Crystal, is probably going to be in about 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, actually, we have selected, we right now have 10 businesses that have submitted their paperwork and their assessment form. We still have room for another 5. And these businesses, we're going to fast track you through the minority certification process, because if you don't have money, it's kind of difficult to circulate it, right? But here we're giving you an opportunity. In the city of Los Angeles, there are just beyond just construction, but all of the dollars that are coming down the pipe, because we're in a renovation place. We're rejuvenating the city, right? And so there is opportunities for everyone. And you can make more money doing business to business as opposed to transactions with individuals who you can't guarantee going to come back to you.
Well, we just really want to emphasize this, just so all of you out there know this. Small businesses, I want you to know this. We're very serious about this. We're not playing games. We're not just talking. As a matter of fact, what we're offering is a little under $250, a little under $250 for you to come into our program. We're going to set you up in our patent our proprietary program, Small Biz Pro, wherein your business will be totally organized. You get all your paperwork, all your documents, all your compliance information. We're also going to help you to get at least 1 certification. We're going to help you with 2, but you're going to get at least 1. Depending on if you can stick with the program. We're also going to help you to become business ready and contract ready so you can start bidding on contracts. We're going to point you in directions so you can either go to the city, you can go to the county, LA Metro, wherever you want to go. We're going to walk you through this process hand in hand, and we're going to provide you opportunities. If you're not successful after being through this program, then it's your fault.
Yes, yes, on you, not on us, on you, because we're going to give you, pretty much lay it out for you. Because when you go to and even when Victor Parker was here on the show, when you go to the SBA, you go online, you fill out the application, and there's no hand holding.
No
right?
hand holding.
Hand holding, and then after it's done, it's on you to figure out what proposals or opportunities work for your business and to search them out. And then after that is on you to make the connections and network with people that can help you through the process. But we're going to literally...
We're going to hold your hand. We're going to take you there. We're going to walk you through the process. We're going to show you how to fill out that certification form. And we're also going to go online and we're going to look up some bids using the Small Biz Pro program. And we're going to find some bids for you. And we're going to walk you through filling out that process. So if you're out there right now listening to this show, I want you to give us a call at 323-293-3375, 323-293-3375. Crystal and I will be happy to help you guys and start that hand-holding process in memory of the great
Muhammad Nassardeen. And it's so funny, yesterday when I was sitting over at City National Bank, they're new to our community. Yes. And so as I was telling them all that we do, he goes, wow, you guys are serious. I said, we're not just talking.
We don't play.
We're walking the walk along with the talking.
That's right.
And so he was pretty impressed. And that's kind of what it's going to take for all of us is to get our hands dirty, get down in, and sometimes just force some people to do what they're supposed to be doing.
And we're sick of standing by and asking these organizations and these entities to help us out. Please give us some opportunities. Help us. Help our small businesses. Let's get them ready. No, they don't want to do that. So we're doing it ourselves.
Right. And I've never been one for begging. I
that's
can't
true.
beg for nothing.
That's true.
So that's my whole thing. I am going nobody and begging for nothing. If I can't make it happen through research or connections, I don't want it.
That's right.
Begging is just, to me, is beneath me.
That's true.
I'm sorry. True. That's just the way I feel about it.
So that's why we're doing it ourselves.
Yeah, it is. So last weekend I wasn't here, and you held it down with Miss Natlin, and
in honor of Queen Bee, I have to hold it down.
You held it down. But I was over at the Women's Leadership Conference.
Yes, tell us about
Network.
that.
Oh, we had such a fabulous time. We had it was a small group, about 65 women, and then we actually had Gil Cargill. He did a presentation on sales. He's been in the industry. He's been a salesperson probably for the last 50 years, and he is bad.
That's amazing.
So he shared his wisdom. We had Layla Christie. She did hers on blogging and how you make money, another revenue stream with blogging, and she's very successful. These were thinking out of the box women.
That's how it should be.
Right? And KL Moore, she's an image consultant, and so she was fabulous and phenomenal. Dr. Cosette White, remember Dr. White was here on our show.
Yes.
She's the money doctor.
Oh, yes.
So she talked about how to, what you write off in your taxes and how to benefit you when you go to get loans. We had Margot Bouchette. She's an attorney, family law, but she's, from what I'm hearing, she's equivalent to Johnny Cochran was during the time.
That's what I'm talking about. Those are some powerhouses.
Powerhouses. These women, she had been appointed by presidents.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
That's some big stuff, right? So we had that. And so 3 whole days. It was pretty awesome. I was the mistress of ceremony on Saturday.
That's great.
And my co-host, my cohort, Miss Dawn Strozer, she was the co-host on Friday and Saturday.
That is great.
Then we had a men's panel on Sunday, and Daryl Brown from U.S. Bank, he was one of the panelists, and then we had Demetrius, I can't think of his last name, but he's a fireman. So what we were asking from a male's point of view, because women, the topic was building bridges and making connections. That was the topic of the conference, right? And so women have certain, there's things that take place in our world that's very specific to us.
Right.
But little do we know that when you work in corporate America, sometimes you have catty women and stuff. So they asked one of the men, how did they feel about that? And they were like, catty, what's that? and they're looking like, we don't even know what that is. So the things that we stress over when we work in corporate America, they have no clue.
You know what's amazing about that, Crystal? I was saying this to somebody the other day. Men are different creatures.
Yeah.
I mean, we will get in a fight with another dude and we'll punch him out, and all of that, and then 2 minutes later we're buddies again.
Right.
We're talking. It's
right.
like, we don't hold those grudges.
And women be like, I can't talk to her. You can't talk to her. The world can't talk to her. So they're looking at us like, what are you talking about? They had no clue. And then, with the world talking about sexual harassment and all the stuff that's going on in the whole entire world, not even just in Washington. And, so these guys, they felt that women were their counterparts, so they treated them with respect, but on a bigger scale, of course. Yeah. But, of course, the guys that are not doing that are not coming to the guys that don't do that and telling them that they do that, right?
Yeah.
So truly, women are from Mars and women are from Venus and men are from Mars.
I truly believe that.
It was actually kind of interesting. Great panel, though. It went on.
That's good.
It started at 10. It was over by 1:30. They got into it.
Oh, that's
great. They were really connected, and we had a couple of young men giving their input on women and how how they their struggles, and they even asked the question, what are they most fearful of? There was a young man. And I don't know, you're not in this area, but there's a young man, he was homeless for a number of years. He calls himself a billionaire. Well, he has a billboard up on Slauson, and it talks about going after what you want.
Yeah.
And so he lived in his car. And so he has created this book, 2 books, 3 books actually.
Right.
But he has a book because he was homeless for 961 days.
Wow.
And so his book cost $961.
Oh, wow.
And he has sold about 6 copies. And it's all, so the book is full of quotes and things that he wrote and things that really resonated with him when he was homeless and living in his car.
That's amazing.
That's pretty powerful, right? Because you can't get no further. If you're living in your car, that's just the bottom.
So he got himself back on his feet.
He's back on track. So his goal is to put these billboards all around the world, around the country.
Yeah.
And so he has a number of them around Los Angeles.
Oh, I like that. How much does it cost to put up one of those?
I don't know what it costs to put up a billboard.
I'd like to check that out.
Yeah.
And get Small Business Pro up there. And one of those.
Right. So that's his goal, is to put it in. So his name is Billionaire Pierre. We're going to have him on the show.
Oh, good. When?
I'll probably not until the first of the year, because we actually are booked all the way straight on through to Christmas.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. So, and then another one, which was a surprise, is I think her name is Adrian Kelly. She's the former wife of R. Kelly.
Oh, really?
So she was there talking, and she was so funny. She says, she should have change her name to You're R. Kelly's ex-wife. That's what she said. That's and she was on Celebrity Housewives, I think, or a celebrity show. But she's living here in California now.
Oh, good, very good.
And she's saying she was very talented. She goes, I was a woman in my own right. I was a dancer. She was an actress, and then all of a sudden I lost my name and I became R. Kelly's wife, ex-wife. So she was funny. But you can go to the Bella Network website and Facebook page.
So the videos are up.
The videos are up.
Beautiful.
We had a professional photographer that came out. She recorded everything. We did a lot of Facebooking. Layla showed us how to hashtag.
Oh, that's great.
With very powerful hashtags.
That's excellent.
So we did all of that. So we got a lot of trending.
That's
and
good.
A lot of so it was really pretty cool.
So it was a pretty good event.
It was very empowering. People always say women can't get along and can't do things together. That was definitely not true. We really had a fantastic, and it went all the way from 7 in.the morning to, we had meditation, to the evening. The founder of the Bella Network, Alicia White Madsen, she works in corporate America at Northrop, and so she has this vision that women can be each other's tribe, and we're there to support one another. Yeah. So she picked people that really, really connected, and it was good. So next year we'll be back for our third annual, and hopefully we'll double the size of it. And
that's great.
So it was really cool.
Well, in the same vein, we have an event coming up this coming Friday, the 17th and 18th, with Black Business Women Rock. What's her name?
Natalie.
She was here on the program last week. And this is the ticket right here. It's a conference and expo. It's going to be at the Torrance Marriott Hotel.
Okay.
And I'm imploring all the women and men in the community to go check this out, Black Business Women Rock. And this is their 6th annual conference. And on Friday, I'll be there teaching a workshop. And on Saturday, I'll be part of a panel.
Right? Yes. Part of a panel, right?
Yes. So I have one ticket left. So if anyone want to call in and give us a good reason why you should be at that conference, then this ticket is all yours. So if you've got a business and you're trying to network or obtain some more opportunities, come to this event next Friday, the 17th and the 18th. I've got a ticket here for you. So give us a call. Our number is 323-293-3375. That's 323-293-3375.
And did you get that information I sent you yesterday that City National Bank is hosting a VC matchmaking
at
the Vision
here.
Right here in Leimert Park?
Yeah.
And they're bringing the They've invested a lot of money in the community. So one of those things one of those projects.
That's on the 14th, right?
On the 14th, yeah.
14th, yeah.
And they're going to, if you have a tech project that's looking for some funding or some partners with the venture capitalists, then you can go there and present your and network.
I went to the site last night to register. I noticed some of the other... There are like 3 or 4 different categories. Those were all closed. They were all gone. There's only one left. So I think it's a $20 a ticket.
Yeah.
So that one is left. But I was thinking I have to go to Stockton the next day. I got to fly out early. So are you going?
I think I'll pop by, so I'll get the information. And this won't be the last one. He had told me that they're going to have multiples.
Because I was wondering about that. I was saying, well, if Crystal is going, then,
I can go.
You can represent.
Yeah, I can go and represent us and find out about it. So we're going to get ready to start. But before, I want to wish my Aunt Jan, who is living in Tennessee, a happy birthday today. When my mom passed, when my mom was ill, she was like my other mom. So she's become the matriarch of the family.
I hear that.
So happy birthday, Jan, and have a fantastic day today. Love you.
Happy birthday, Aunt Jan.
Yeah, I was teasing her today because she had relocated. Last year she lived in Chicago, and so she's now in Tennessee, and I asked her how the weather was. It's about 60 degrees, and she goes, but I was talking to my friend that's in Chicago. She said it is like 45 degrees. She goes, I'm so happy I'm here. Yeah, so they're starting to get their cold. It's actually fall. We don't seem to know that, but...
see, to me, after 45... living in a cold climate is no good for you.
Well, weren't you in New York?
Yes.
You live in New York? I know you're Jamaican.
I had to get out of there real quickly. I'm going, man, you wake up and then your knees start hurting, your back. Then you got to shovel that snow. It's like, oh, why am I doing this? And then when it snows, it's 3 feet high. It's like, no,
oh, well, that is...
I got to get out
Let
of
me
here.
Tell you, that is no snow.
That's
I'm from Buffalo,
You're from
New
Buffalo,
York,
so you
and
know.
we had snow that covered up to the second floor window, and we had to crawl out. 3 feet of snow ain't nothing, man.
I remember.
And on top of that, it could be 25 below zero.
Yes. I was sick of that, so I said, I got to get out of here. Then I came to California in 1999, and... when I was here, I see all this economic development going on, all these buildings going up, this infrastructure. I'm going, why am I not living here? I'm going.
So were you one of those people that turned around and said, I'm on my way? I'm
yeah. I said, you know what? I'm not coming back. They go, what do you mean? You got your house here. I said, well,
sell it.
Let's sell it.
Yeah. There are a lot of people.
And that's exactly what I did. And I never turned back ever since. I started at the mayor's office and things just start going from that point.
Okay. Yeah, definitely some opportunity here. And then there you got the winter, so there's a whole lot of stuff that does not happen in the winter months. Just way too cold.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I don't mind skiing in it, but I don't want to live in it. I don't want to have to drive. It's one thing when you ski and you have fun in the snow.
You can leave whenever you want.
When you want to. You're in no hurry. But when you actually have to get to work or get across town with snow and chains and plowing.
Your ears start burning, your nose start burning. Your fingertips start burning? No.
That's why I guess there's so many people in the city of Los Angeles. Just intense.
There's a lot of transplants here. I can see that.
Yeah, because we got the best weather in the world. And now that the world has gone nuts and they're having all kinds of storms and hurricanes.
And everybody's coming from all those other states.
So, and all the other stuff that's going on back east. So what did you think about, we got about 5 minutes, but about all of the... individuals, all the women coming out talking about being sexually harassed, and it's just...
I think things have reached a breaking point. This has been going on for a while. There's a community of people who try to hide it, try to cover it up. So that's probably why a lot of people didn't come forward and say anything, because they feel like, hey, no one's going to believe me, no one's going to listen, they're going to ridicule me. But then it's gotten to a breaking point where now all of a sudden one person started it, and then all of a sudden people start, like those women from Fox that started. So, of course, they're rich, so people will listen to them. But then all of a sudden there's a domino effect. So,
wow.
So now a lot of the poor women who are experiencing that, they're coming forward as well, and people are listening. Mm-hmm. So... it's a turning point.
It's a turning point. And I mean, careers are just being destroyed with just two people come out, and that's the end of like Kevin Spacey. I had no idea, first of all, that the man was gay, which is not a problem. But secondly, my God, he's a serial pedophile,
yes,
or whatever you want to call it.
Yes. Going on right now, this is not new. This has been going on since slavery, when those guys would just walk past us on our patios, go inside and mess with our wives and our daughters. And sit. No one said anything about that.
Of course
I'm just
not.
wondering at what point is that going to start coming up? And people are going to start looking at it and say, yes, you've been doing that.
It definitely goes back in time.
You see what I'm saying?
That behavior, I was talking to someone the other day, and we were talking about the fact that this is not just this generation. This behavior, this very cruel behavior that certain people have that are displaying right now, this is innate in who they are.
Yeah.
This is who they are. This is their underlying personality and characteristics. Because, even to come up with some of the stuff that they come up with when you watch television and you're going like, oh my God, what kind of people are these?
And the system lets them get away with it.
And I guess that's the other thing is that the system has allowed them to get away with it.
The system protects them.
So the Pandora's box has been opened.
Yep, it's reached a breaking point. So let's see from this what types of people are going to start being listened to.
Yeah.
Whose stories are going to be told and seem credible?
Right.
Or is it just going to be a certain group?
Yeah, that'll be interesting. But I tell you, I think Hillary Clinton hit it on the nose. Boy, this is a basket full of deplorable human beings.
That's what I'm talking about.
She was not lying. I don't know if anybody's... that she wasn't lying about. She was definitely telling the truth about that.
And she cannot apologize for that either.
Right, exactly.
So do you want to go ahead and take a quick break then?
Yeah, we'll take a quick break, bring our guests up, and then we'll start with our celebration.
Okay, sounds great. I know this is a special day again, like I said, for Crystal, so I'm here to support her. I'm your supporting actor today.
Oh. Well, actually, our guest is probably going to just take it away because they knew Muhammad or Mo or RBD
they knew that path, that journey.
Yeah, they knew what his journey was. They knew why he was doing what he was doing and why he had the vision he had. So we're going to let them just I'm going to do a little lead in.
You're going to let them tell us a story.
And let them tell us a story.
Okay. So you're on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan. If you're just tuning in, please give us a call at 323-293-3375. That's 323-293-3375. Take a break.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
So we're back on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And today we've got some special guests in the studio. And before we do that, I want to remind you, audience out there, that this is Small Business Month. Some people may say it's Small Business Week, the last week of November. We're celebrating the whole month, Small Business Month. And what we're doing is we're trying to get you ready. We want to prepare you so you can get involved in that spending frenzy that's coming up after Thanksgiving all the way to Christmas. So get yourself ready, Small Business Month.
Okay, so we are here celebrating the life and legacy of Mr. Muhammad Nassardeen, who was the founder of Recycling Black Dollars. He founded the organization in 1988 here in Los Angeles. And the idea grew out of a conversation that he had overheard between two African-American doctors. The two spoke ill of black-owned businesses and said that they hired white professionals, lawyers and accountants, because they questioned the competency of African Americans.
Really?
And that's where it started. And the conversation revealed a need to change the image of black businesses, to strengthen those that existed and to create new ones. So he took his own money and he started the organization in August in 1988. And so today we're going to talk about that. We have Bobby Glanton-Smith here, who has his own radio show and called
Uncle Bobby's Country Corner.
Uncle Bobby's right here in Morris Media Studio. So you guys can check him out. When are you?
Tuesdays, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m.
So Bobby has all these colloquialisms and quotes and just changing the mindset of the people out there. And sometimes I hear him smack folks around a little bit because they need to. I hear you, Bobby. And then we have our self-appointed mayor of South Los Angeles, Dr. Rosie Milligan. Now, Dr. Rosie Milligan, she has a major place in this community as well. She too slaps people around because we're at that place where we can only just talk, right? So we got to get people's attention. So they are here because you both were here when Muhammad first started, or
I was, yes.
Yeah,
in the beginning.
In the beginning,
yeah. So
you know what really inspired him and what he went through to grow the organization. And so today we're going to talk about where we were then, why he even, besides this conversation over here, but where we were here in the city of Los Angeles and our economic status, and is it too much different or is it different from today? And what are the solutions?
First, I want to say welcome to the Business Zone, folks.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So any one of y'all can jump on right on there. You can talk about Muhammad and what it meant to his friendship to you guys and helping him in his mission. And then let's get into why we still are fighting this fight about recycling our black dollars.
Well, his mission to me is what I've always known. You know, I grew up in the South, from South America, and you pick it up in my accent, better known as Mississippi.
I remember
that place.
Yeah, that's South America. That's the real South America right there.
And I learned at a very early age, because my father was a farmer, but he owned the farm. So I understood how important it was for us to own our own businesses, where we could go to school year-round, and other kids had to get off the bus and go pick cotton and do stuff because they lived on someone else's place. But I remember I was there when Nassardeen first began the organization. We would meet over on South Figueroa.
Okay.
And what would happen, every week he would have everybody to stand up and say, what black business did you patronize? So as people begin to tell what business they patronize, that would let the other people know about businesses that they didn't know about. And then it would force others to go to a black business, because if he pointed you out, you felt kind of
a little guilty, huh?
Couldn't say that you went to a black business. And he was just great, with the organization, helping black people to understand that we must do for self and we must support each other's business. And people's all for it. And he was just great. We had so many conversations. We would always talk about how black people would put up these big fronts, and he would always laugh because I coined a term with him. I said, when black folks get some backs to go with these fronts that we have. So, because whenever you ask a black person, how's your business? Oh, great. They won't tell you I just hid my car so they don't pick it up.
Right, exactly. So the back to the front.
Yeah, my wife is mad because I ain't bringing no money. I paid all the employees and I didn't take anything home.
Yeah, well, they're kind of still doing that, right? They still need some backs to those businesses.
But we'll get there. And the banking is what impressed me. So when he was, having people to go and, switch bank day,
Change bank
that
day.
was really phenomenal. Even young people's taking their children to those banks so they can open up a little account. I mean, they're just mighty. Someone come from a corporate job to come down. I'm telling them, when you come down the hill, I'm going to say it like that, when you come from off the hill down the hill, you're creating a monster for yourself. You have to be called to do it. I really want to say you have to be called, because nobody could do what he did except he was appointed, anointed, and he knew it was something he had to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there was time he felt like, well, let me go back to corporate. But today, people used to get tired of that business and they would say, well, I just close this thing down and going back to corporate America. Well, y'all know what? Ain't nowhere to go back to now, so we have to make it work.
Right.
And that's what he told us. The day would come that you're going to have to. You can't run. You can't hide.
And that day is here. That day is here right now. That's why I say Muhammad I always felt that he was so far advanced, more so than the people. Right. That he was ministering to,
he was
already 20 years ahead of, which is where we are today, right? It's 20, 30 years ahead of where he was. Exactly. And if he was here today, there are certain tools that are here that could really make this mission or his mission totally different today that wasn't there back when he started in 1988. And so, Bobby, you knew him pretty well as well. You were actually in the office with him, and was it really deep in the trenches of the journey, huh?
Well, I was sitting here just reflecting back over when I first met Muhammad. It was late in 1988. I was living in San Diego, and I had family here in Los Angeles, and my cousin said, man, you got to experience this energy that's emanating out of a Tuesday night meeting over at Joshua's in Inglewood. And it was part revival, part it was intoxicating, and to see all of these black people from different walks of life getting out in front of an audience and talking about their businesses. And then Muhammad would make his remarks, and he was such a charismatic guy.
Definitely.
That I was like, wow, man, this is deep. And then when I had an opportunity to get a moment with him, I made it a habit to come back each Tuesday from San Diego.
Oh, wow.
For about a year. And I think it was about 91 or so, I started a chapter in San Diego. And it really made me appreciate what it took for him to make that kind of investment of time and treasure. Because someone I work very closely with to this day, Jim Brown, was famous for saying to me, he said, Bobby, black folks buy what they want and they beg for what they need. And
wow.
As I watched Muhammad go out every day and toil in these fields on behalf of our people, it was a mixed emotion for me, because I knew that nobody could refute the concept of recycling black dollars, but getting past that slave damage was just very challenging, and he never ever gave in to the difficulties of organizing our people around the economic implications of being in this foreign land, but now it's our country, and yet we hadn't developed a sophistication to understand that you vote every day with your dollars. So quit waiting on November whatever,
right,
every 4 years to have that kind of an impact, and to just watch this brother continue to pour into this organization and the concept of getting us to organize around our own economy was very inspiring. And I would reflect on the movements that preceded him, the Garvey movement, the evolution of the Nation of Islam, just a lot of, the Tuskegee experiment as it related to the philosophy of Booker T. Washington. There was a little bit of all of those things involved in what recycling black dollars became. And I admired his persistence and his determination, because he lived and breathed and literally died recycling.
He literally died with his boots on.
Because I was in the office that fateful day, and it was surreal in a way. Because he was fine one minute and gone with the wind the next.
Yeah, and it's so funny, and I know you get it, and I know I get it. People go out, and tell them I'm the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars. It's like, oh, everybody has a Muhammad story, first of all, and then secondly, they'll go, I was just in his office the day before, or I saw him the day, or spoke to him on the phone that morning before he died. So I've probably run into 15, 20 people that had some encounter with him within hours of when he died.
One more quick thing. You asked a question a minute ago, then and now. Man, it's breathtaking to know that we still find ourselves overcoming the false perception that the white man's ice is colder and lasts longer. And one of the things that I was most proud of was the fact that we did, kind of crack that window open, but we still haven't lifted it up.
Right, it's like about this much, huh? But a little stuck.
Yeah, you can feel a cold air coming in. but
we need some WD-40 just like to really open it all the way up. It's stuck.
I think a lot of that is because Nassardeen really fought for economic justice, and we had so many people who was fighting for social justice, and they act as if we can get social justice, that's all we need is to sit where we want to sit, eat where we want to, buy a house over there, and they were just satisfied.
Right.
So if we had really, the people who had the most juice, if they had really undergirded what he was doing with fighting for economic justice, because that's where we are right now, and that's why we have not moved too far, because we did not fight for what we should have. We were doing for social justice when it should have been economic justice. And he was part of, as you mentioned, the Marcus Garvey. He was the Dr. Martin Luther King. He certainly had a dream. And he was also the Malcolm X, because he said, we're going to do this thing by any means necessary. And he tackled it with all his might. And it was tough. People don't know how tough it is on a leader, especially when they have to make a sacrifice. And that sacrifice is not just for themselves. That sacrifice runs so deep for that family, because my children sometimes, they tell me, well, Mama, you know what? You're going to use all our little inheritance on
all them other people out there in that community. But so true. He did suffer. His family, Jennifer and the kids, he had 4 girls and a boy, right? They all, and he was so young, 54 when he died. He died in 2007, and it just seems like it was yesterday. First of all, but we're 10 years later. And I do know when Jackie and I took over, Willie was in between, Willie Fan, and then he died. And then when we started taking over, Muhammad had left such a impression, or such a carbon footprint in this community. And actually not just here in Los Angeles. He was known all over the world. Yes. Because he went to China. Didn't he go to China with the message?
An extensive interaction with Europe. There was at one point a small cadre of people that started a satellite chapter in London.
Okay.
So you're right. It did, reach beyond the boundaries of Southern California for sure.
Yeah, because when I've gone in, I do a lot of the social media for RBD. So we're to honor his death and his birth, I usually go out and do extensive research, and so there's still videos out there, and so I usually pull those up and put those on our Facebook page and our social media, so that we don't forget who he was and really the groundwork that he laid for even what little bit of stuff we have going on, he laid. But what amazes me is my interaction, and I was a member of RBD, but I wasn't part of the inner circle. I had my own business. I think I had just started it about the same time he started Recycling Black Dollars.
Well, you were such a baby.
I was such a baby. Yeah, it was my very first business, and it was, so we were going through all the networking and stuff. But today, when I mention I'm the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, and people used to go, wow, what a concept. And it just takes the breath out of me, like,
so that's
what a concept.
That's the first time they're hearing it?
Yeah, like, that's
you didn't know?
Yeah, that's a good concept. We should really be doing that. Really. And these are black people. And so that just really just like throws me. And then lately, we've been getting the resource guide. Now, how long has this resource guide been around? Since the 90s,
boy.
right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And Muhammad, there was a reason why he did this. So somebody, and I think it was a bishop of a church in Westchester, California, and he was on KJLH the other day, I guess, last week, saying, we really need a resource guide. We really need a guide that has all the businesses. So somebody on Facebook reached out to me and said, can you call this person and tell them there is already one out there? And then another guy that's over at the Urban League, he went off to a meeting in New Orleans, and he came back and he was all gun-ho, and he's like, oh yeah, we need to start a business directory. And so one of my colleagues over there, now I do a lot of partnering over there, she goes, no, we don't have to reinvent that wheel. It's called Recycling Black Dollars. They already got a book. Now you can help them get more businesses in it. And right now they're looking at getting it into a mobile app. So why don't we raise some money to help them do that? But let's not reinvent the wheel.
Again. It's cyclical with us,
Right.
Every 30 years we go back to the scratch line,
Yeah.
And it's so important that we do what you're talking about, because when you really look at the dynamics of our community, as Dr. Claude Anderson said, we don't really have community, just neighborhood, place where we park and sleep.
Right, exactly.
Neighborhood is when you own, control the schools, you own the businesses that you shop with. But I look at it like this: until we can tap into dollars from people all across the United States, it's going to be very difficult to win. Because when you look at many of the businesses, the neighborhoods they're in, it's a very few of people who look like them, and other people tend to patronize their own businesses. So when you can have people, if we can do business, U.S. with China, why can't I buy things from someone in Georgia, from Tennessee, from
Right,
Memphis?
exactly.
That's how we're going to really have to look at it. There's no other way for us to survive without getting support from people outside of that 5 mile radius.
Exactly. And now it's so much easier to do that because the internet gives you a whole new threshold of new customers, new clients. All you have to do is market and advertise online.
Yes.
And the other one we need to really start thinking about is, how do we do business in Africa? How do we do business in the Caribbean? How do we do, there's a lot of West Indies and Caribbean people that are here in this country. And why are we not utilizing that bridge in order to reach their people?
We got to step outside of the box if we intend to win.
Right.
No question
Because we could go to Puerto Rico right now and help, right? You could create business right there in Puerto Rico. They need everything at this point.
Right.
That's true.
I was just thinking, perhaps we need to begin some outreach for small businesses, black businesses in the community, and other businesses that want to participate as well, because I don't think the awareness is out there. Based on what I just heard you say, a lot of people, they didn't even know this existed. So if we can start doing some outreach events, outreach workshop, invite businesses. They don't have to pay. Come on in. We're telling you about how this process, how this system works, and how we'll be able to help you, because a lot of what we're doing is part of this, where we're teaching them how to become certified, how to become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. So by us building their capacity like that and having them come in and see what we can really do, and when we do it together, how well we can do it, I think this thing will be promoted, and that book will be thicker than where it is right now.
Right, exactly. And working with, because, Dr. Rosie, she's very active, and she has town hall meetings, but we need to, pack rooms, right? Exactly. Bobby, and what you're doing, we are all kind of working in this silo, everybody working for the same goal, but it's like independent, and we're just twirling our feet trying to get up out the water.
But that's why Nassardeen was ahead of his time, because his focus was on economics. Until we can bring that economic piece in, we'll be just stabbing in the dark. Because when you're having these events, that most people don't know about it because we don't have the money to do radio. It used to be public service announcements. So now with these radio, you better publish some dollars up there. So they're not talking about anything you're doing. I don't care if it's free. So we do need to finance so we can make people aware.
That's what I'm talking about.
And that's why it's so important, all of us here with radio or access to media, because then that's what Dr. Anderson talks about. That's one of the steps. We have to be able to talk about and reach out to the people that will listen to us and keep reiterating over and over again until somewhere along the line it sinks in.
Because even though, a lot of what we do here is really to help build capacity. Now, we're trying to move small businesses away from that transactional business where they do one business today, they may do one tomorrow, they may do another one next month, but they're not sure that those people are coming back. But if we start getting them in a mindset that they're going to start doing contractual businesses where you get a contract for a year, that revenue is coming in, you can plan, you can budget, you can do whatever you need according to that. So that's the type of environment I would like to see us build, instead of that transactional deal where I sell you something today, you may not need it again for another 6 months. Then you can't eat that way. And then also for us to collaborate, like all four of us coming together, we provide different resources. I provide one resource, you provide one, and then together we can go out in a pack, present that to these businesses and these communities.
One of the things that we had to take a very close look at is the dynamics of the marketplace. And by that I mean capital formation is something that we have never really devoted enough time and attention to, because you can have the greatest business in the world and you'll die on the vine with the absence of financial resources. And we need a paradigm shift away from the big business situation, or our obsession with putting most of the responsibility on high-profile businesses or entertainers or athletes. Well, why don't the athletes do more? Well, what are you doing? Because you're spending money every day.
Exactly.
And we've never been able to tap into the vast resources of our community in terms of just even the transactional things. And as we begin to understand and become more sophisticated about the benefit and the necessity of capital formation, it's going to be hard for us to get businesses that can grow rapidly until we really just nail down that we have to have access to capital, and don't expect it to come from the traditional sources.
No, it's not going to happen.
GoFundMe and all that. That's really good, but it has to resonate with people because. Don't go out and try to ask for $100. Ask for $5 from a wide range of people, possibly. But we have to be very innovative because everything is changing so rapidly in terms of how quickly the markets open and close. And it's like the green movement, for example, and food production. There's a lot of things going on right now. You look at gentrification, and I deal with a lot of realtors because of my association with the construction industry. And we're not preparing people for the jobs that are available. Some of these guys out there holding signs make $40 an hour and they work 7 days a week if they want to. It may not be your career path for a lifetime, but it could sure be a gateway to the middle class.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
we have to be a little more innovative and perceptive of what's really going on in the marketplace.
I like what you're saying because it reminds me of where I came from. See, where I came from, we used to have what we call a community fund. Mm-hmm. So instead of going to the bank and getting money, we have a community that comes together. So if there are 20 people and each person put $100 or whatever, all of that adds together. One person gets that 1 week.
Yeah,
then the next week.
Don't they call that susu?
Yeah, in another country they call it that. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's similar to that. I know it's illegal here, but if we do it the right way, that can gain recognition and we can use that as a source. Because right now there's no other source for us to obtain funds. So if we can do that where we pool resources, other cultures do it.
The Koreans have
That's what I was just going to say.
Phenomenal.
That's what I was just going to say.
And they take into account the fact that people mess up.
Yeah.
But they don't quit because one person failed. They almost build that into their
expectations.
Their configuration.
Right, exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
So that's critical.
We need to give that some consideration.
Now, didn't you and Dr. Anderson do something of that nature with the lobster fish?
That's what happened.
The hatchery, right? Fish
yes, with selling stock, to build businesses. See, unless we come together, it's collaboration. See, we tend to want to do everything by ourselves. These big business corporations, where there's the money,
they're collaborating.
One of the reasons that what happened, even with the Vision Theater, okay, I'm known to get in trouble with my mouth, but at 72, I don't give a.
You've earned that right.
We would have had that theater right now if the vision had been there to sell shares versus to continue to ask people to help bail you out. That's what happened with that Vision Theater with Marla Gill. People will put in money to help bail out. Well, after a while, they want to say, well, let me have a little share in. Sometimes we rather have none than to open up and share. So we go into what I term the piece up. I've kind of coined a word. We need to piece up. The winos taught us very well how to piece up. If they wanted to buy some Ripple, young folks don't know what they do. They just said, how much you got on it? So we need to say, how much you got on it, okay?
Right.
And they would all buy together. So we could have bought a lot of property around here if we just pieced up. So that's what we need to do.
That is true.
Just like the sisters used to sit together and piece a quilt.
Yes.
They got it done because they all pieced up and put a piece in there until we come to the mindset to piece up. 20 years from now, we'll be sitting around talking about the same story because it's all about the money. And you said a paradigm shift? Yeah. We need to shift our money like Ken Bridges tried to tell us with Marta.
That is true. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a break right now. We're at the top of the hour. It's now 4 o'clock. You're on the Business Zone. For those of you who are just tuning in, you're on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. We're going to take a break.
And you can tune in at Morris Media Live and see us live.
That's right.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
Them checks don't bounce.
Welcome back to the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And for those of you who are just tuning in, please give us a call here. Our number is 323-293-3375 if you want to join the conversation. We're having a great conversation here about the great Muhammad who helped to launch Recycling Black Dollars. It's Crystal's passion. She's been taking on that journey for him, and she's doing a phenomenal job. I'm doing everything I can to support her. So give us a call if you need access to this organization.
And mine is about our people. We are some incredibly talented people. Yeah. I teach kids in the summer. I have a biz camp in the summertime, and I teach children how to be entrepreneurs. And I'm just amazed. Whereas they can come in for 10 days, and you say, okay, I need a business plan, and then you got to present it. Oh, got a call. Oh, you got to present it, and then they got it done. So, and we can make. My mother used to take a nickel and it squeezed it the hell and back, and she was creative. And she couldn't afford it, she sold it. So we have talents that are just absolutely amazing. But those talents need to make money. So who's That's our true. Caller?
Hello. Hello, caller. Who are we speaking with, and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the great state of Georgia.
Oh, wonderful.
And who are we speaking with?
Well, I feel like it's OG in the struggle tonight. This is Deborah Santos.
Oh, my God. Well, you the OG. It's good to hear your voice, Deborah.
Yes.
Good to hear you, Country Bobby.
Welcome to the Business Zone, Deborah.
I've heard a lot about you. I don't think I ever had an opportunity to meet you. Besides Muhammad being our connection, I think you also, Dr. Wayne Kelly. I think I remember him talking about you quite a bit, but I never had the opportunity to meet you, but I've heard a lot about you.
A quick word about Deborah Santos. She's one of those few people that can operate in both worlds, the right brain world and the left brain world, because she was an accomplished bean counter, but she was also a risk taker.
Oh.
And her additions to the Recycling Black Dollars movement were priceless. You know, she steered Muhammad through some very challenging financial times, and her enthusiasm and commitment to Recycling Black Dollars was inspiring.
Amazing. Deborah, do you want to share some of your other stories with us?
Well, it's funny that Bobby gives me that credit, because there are some days, I count Muhammad as a great leader, a visionary, definitely ahead of his time, but I also included him amongst my small group of people I consider really wonderful friends.
Yes.
And so there were times I was, behind him pushing, and there were times I was probably one of the people saying, maybe you should just go back to corporate America. our people, you love them, but they can wear you out.
Yeah, they can.
So I appreciate you guys talking about, his sacrifice and his struggle, because you sometimes see a person in the community and out front, and you think about their notoriety and their somewhat degree of celebrity, and you really miss the sacrifice they make and the cost that it takes. Muhammad left a great paying job to fight the struggle, which is not always great paying or paying at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so he really had a passion for it. He was so inspirational to people. When he had his meetings, he was always, turn to your neighbor. I'm a success, and so are you.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's great.
And that was the feeling he gave people all the time. I was so impressed at his going away service.
Mm-mm-mm.
And so many people got on the mic, and each and every person said, and I was Muhammad's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, because I'm jealous, because I'm thinking I'm in the best friend group.
and so did Dr. Rosie, and so did Bobby. They didn't know that there was a whole bunch of best friends.
Exactly. But I think there's something wonderful about a person who can make so many people in his world feel so individually special.
That means he had a referent power. That's what he has.
Yeah.
Great leaders like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey. That's how they were. They had referent power. So they make you want to follow them, even if it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
The thing that I regret, that he never finished his book. He would always tell me, Doc, I got it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I used to always tell people, if you have a story, you cannot tell it from the grave. When I think now of the knowledge that we lost even in the middle passage, my soul yearns for how much we could have known if we had known what the people knew ahead of us.
Yeah. Right,
but I'm glad that we're here. He didn't tell this story, but doggone it, we can still.
But you guys both are writers and can tell those stories.
Just tell it and get stories like you all doing today. Get stories from the people that he helped, that he inspired. Yes. And Bobby, we need to kind of need to do that thing. Okay? No, seriously, that's important.
It is. The two books that I completed, the first one was Let's Go to Work about Mr. Leon Garr. I was able to intersperse, because that's how I met Mr. Garr, was through Recycling Black Dollars. And I mentioned Muhammad extensively in Mr. Garr's book, and then the book I did called Real Men Don't Play, I was able to draw from my relationship with Muhammad as it related to a couple of the subjects in my book. But the idea of widening that scope to encompass the totality of his existence, because as your homeboy Marcus Garvey once said, what men have done, men can do. I have a caveat to that. You got to know about it.
That's right.
You got to know about it. And I think that would be excellent, is a book that reaching out to all the people that actually he touched. And as you said, Deborah, he when they got up and said, there's my best friend. And I was just mentioning that so many people, when I go into different environments and they're like, oh, yeah, I remember Muhammad. He was helping me with so-and-so and so-and-so. And he did this and he did this. My business wouldn't have existed if it hadn't been for him. So there's so many of those people that are having those conversations, and we do need to record that, because then that's about that economic empowerment, right? Because those people are now retiring. I know Frank Dinkins came to a meeting not long ago and said he gave Muhammad like $500, his first lifetime member.
Right. Claim to fame. But you know what's so interesting about this conversation, as I look at the disparate so-called movements such as Black Lives Matter and all of that, I'm oftentimes reflective about how other cultures, they link to the platforms that preceded them. And there's a lot of people out there that are basically mimicking recycling black dollars the same way recycling black dollars mimicked in some ways what the Marcus Garvey movement was about, and what Booker T. Washington, advocated, cash your bucket down where you are. All of those things are interrelated generationally, and we have to connect those dots because otherwise we keep starting all over.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
And it all goes back to what he fought for. Black life matters, but what matters most
money.
is black money.
That's right.
About Wall Street, we need to build Black Street. I'm worried about the White House and worried about your Black House.
Preach, Dr. Russell, because you are absolutely. We need to stop being so connected with what they're doing, because until we start voting with our dollars, but don't even worry about whether or not. But if we can't control our own local politicians, how are we going to control something in Washington? Because they're selling us out, but we're not saying anything.
Right.
We're not.
We don't want to air dirty linen, so we don't. Let them just bury us under the bridge.
and then we find out stuff. Just recently, the Urban League sold their building, and they didn't lose the building. They sold the building so to make sure that the organization stayed relevant. Right, so it was to keep the business and there being a stakeholder in the community. That was their asset, so they utilized it. But when the people, Natalie Cole recently did an article in Our Weekly, and she put the picture of the building and said it was lost in foreclosure, which it wasn't, and they did not interview they didn't even call the Urban League to find out what happened. So it was just an article. Wow. So then
that was fake news.
Right, exactly. So the comments was like, oh my God. I mean, it's just like, how could they lose the building? How could they do this? And so somebody made a comment to somebody. They were like, well, when was the last time you were in that building? I bet you it's been 30 years ago. So Gilbert and I had just had a workshop over there. I was like, I was just there yesterday. How about you?
You are so right, because people look at businesses in the community. They have never patronized those businesses, but they know they can never tell you that business is there. But as soon as it's closed, did you know that?
Oh yeah,
exactly.
She gone. She ain't there no more.
Oh, yeah.
When I changed the name of my bookstore because I turned it over to my son, people drove by and they didn't see Milligan book. Child, she's out of business.
Don't call you.
Like, instead of them calling me saying, well, did you go out? Can I help you? They just, well, she not there anymore.
They start building their own stories.
Right, exactly. So I was like, I've been like advocate. It's like, no, you guys don't know the story. Why don't you? But forget just the Urban League. You got Recycling Black Dollars. You got the Black BBA. You got the Crenshaw Chamber of Commerce. Right. You got GLAC. Why are you guys not supporting all of us?
Well, they don't think it's their responsibility. We often talk about what other people owe to us, but we never talk about what is the debt that we owe. What do we owe?
Right.
Because I'm telling you right now, these white folks. Can I say that on?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Yeah. These white folks are not going to keep supporting your organization because it's 1,000 of you doing the same thing, have the same objective and the same purpose, and they don't have to advertise with you because you have to come to their business anyway because you don't have enough of your own. So they don't have to do that.
Right.
And they don't even have a problem telling you that now.
Yeah.
Right.
They tell you right off, oh, no, we're not supporting because where's your matrix? Who are you helping? What are you doing?
And what you going to do about it? Okay?
Right, exactly.
But keep coming to our businesses, you know?
Yeah.
Well, what's so ironic about this conversation is the fact that, in my estimation, the most effective boycott of all time has been that of blacks boycotting black businesses. And it's a two-way street because one of the things that was most challenging during the heyday of Recycling Black Dollars was quality control. Because once you put that emblem in your window, you had a duty, first and foremost, honor the 10% discount. But an even greater situation was whatever your business is, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. If you go to a restaurant and half the stuff on the menu you don't have available to serve to the people, because in our culture, particularly because we are oral people, if you have a bad experience in a black business, you're going to go on a crusade.
Yeah,
you're going to tell complete strangers.
You're going to tell
anybody how bad your experience.
That's
and
true.
we've never fully addressed the impact that has had on the black economy. It takes a dual responsibility: support a black business and hold the businesses accountable.
Yes, exactly.
By going to them, telling them, because sometimes the owner may not know certain things.
Most of the time they don't.
They don't, because it could be. But here's the thing: going to a white establishment,
you take your black self back,
and as soon as they do something wrong, we all over them like cheap suits, right?
Let me tell you what happened in Atlanta, okay? They had a Barnes & Noble who closed in Decatur. They told me they had a black mall in Atlanta. So I'm thinking that they own the mall. You know, black folks always claim all the shit they don't have. Oh, girl, we got black mall in Decatur. I said, I was so excited. We don't have one in California. Let me go. They didn't own anything. They talked about a lot of black folk went there to shop. But they got together and they picked the home office because the store closed. We're going to make them bring it back. They're going to bring that bookstore. Meanwhile, a kiosk, a black-owned bookstore, had a nice store in the mall. But they picked them to bring it back. And they said, okay, we come back, but you have to get rid of the other bookstore. And they did. And the black folk was celebrating. See what else did?
Kept the white ice.
We're the biggest supporters of white supremacy in the country in that way. But, it's so interesting that we're having this conversation because you had mentioned Atlanta and other places where we do that same thing. And then we don't hone. There's an article in the New York Times yesterday about the Juanita Tate Marketplace. And if the New York Times, and I mean, it's a detailed story that saluted the legacy of Juanita Tate. If you don't know who she is, she was a show enough Fannie Lou Hamer, Ida B. Wells type of. Oh, yeah. Okay. She led a movement that created, I think it's about 72,000 square feet of retail spaces, and they got anchor tenants that everybody know. But the money flows through the nonprofit that she started, the Concerned Citizens of South Central Los Angeles, is ran by her daughter, Noreen McClellan.
Oh, okay.
And so she came on my show one day, and I brought her on because the theme is models of possibility and best practice. And it goes back to, you can do what you know about. But right here in the city of Los Angeles, we have one of the best examples. It took them 25 years to get everything, positioned to take care of that. And South Central has changed tremendously since then. But she learned how to navigate the brown-black divide, and that place is flourishing. So we just have to kind of, zoom in on the things that work and then be about the business of replicating that success.
And actually, that's absolutely right. In Georgia as well, there's you remember the young man, I don't know if you met him when we were at the Power Networking Conference. I think his name is Delrose Anderson or Robertson. He owned a beauty institute. Yeah, and then he actually was a hairstylist as well. And I think I mentioned it to you that he went to one of the beauty supply stores, and the owner of the store, who was Korean, chased him out with a baseball bat because he was following him all over the store, and Dr. Robinson had some words, and he was chasing him out. So Dr. Robinson, like, you know what? That's the last time that's going to happen. So he had a boycott. He called in because Atlanta is like LA is when it comes to hair, right? So he shut them down. And so what he did was, this is over a 10-year period, he would educate the students not just in hair care, but also on how to run a business. So, and then he went out and found investors. So during the boycott, which only took 7 days, he put numbers of them out of business. They just shut down. Black women stopped buying any kind of hair product at a Korean-owned beauty supply store. So today, he owns 92 beauty supply stores.
What's his name?
His name is Delvin Robinson.
We need to get him out here.
Yeah.
We need to make more black women mad. God dog it. Because he said that what he did was, he's like, okay, enough of this. We don't come in and spend our money, especially when we spend 95% of the money that they earn
is from us. So who else is buying hair products but us and hair, right? And so he put them out of business.
See, this conversation is so amazing. I don't want it to stop at all because I'm learning so much. Plus, all this information we're gathering there for the listeners. But we still want to bring on our next guest.
Yes, we do.
Right?
We want to bring on.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
There's no movement unless it's about economic.
Yeah.
That's true.
Nothing about no movement unless it's moving the money.
That's right. And that's why earlier when we heard about the social movement, they go hand in hand. The social and the economic, they have to go hand in hand. Because if you're not spreading that wealth and that dollar, it's not being socialized.
Right. And it's interesting you both said that because I went to one of the Black Lives Matter marches that they had in Inglewood, and I actually got to speak with a couple of people that were involved, and I was telling them exactly what you said. I understand the social part of this, but until we change the economics, they don't care that you over there marching because you know somebody's a Nazi. They don't care about that. Hell, we were slaves and they beat us down. Right. The only thing that's going to change is the dollars. When we start using our $1.23 trillion in our own, that's our leverage, not our talk.
Create that impact in the pocketbook.
Right, exactly.
Now, did you want to bring up our next guest and have him sit next to me, share my mic? Or you want to do that?
We could.
Because I don't want these fine folks to leave. They got a lot of them. You got to go.
You're going to have to let
Okay, so what we'll do then, we'll just
take a break.
Well, first, before we take a break, we just want any parting words for you to give us, any words of wisdom you want to share with our audience.
And how to hear you on your show.
Yeah, how to reach you.
On Tuesdays from 10 to 11, you can go to drrosie.com and express yourself hour and listen to my show. But the part of words that I need to say, we need to start at home. We need to make sure we be an example, and we're going to have to get together and decide how we're going to build these businesses. And we're going to have to get some baseball bats and stand outside of some of these. So we're going to have to fight through this.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We got
you going beyond slapping around. You just gonna bang him upside the head with a baseball bat. All right, Dr. Rosie.
Here, boom. Where
you going? We'll shame them into shopping black. I'm with you, Dr. Rosie. We no more talk. Let's just action.
Yeah.
So that was the amazing Dr. Rosie. Absolutely. She is phenomenal. We could listen to her for days and days and days, and she just has to go. So I want to thank you, Dr. Rosie, for being on the show today.
But I think you and Bobby need to sit down and start writing that book. Oh, yeah. And Deborah, if you're still on the line and you think you need to contribute to that book as well.
That's right.
I would love that. I would love that.
Perfect.
So that's January 20. In 2018, we got to make that after your project, whatever project you got going on, Bobby, that we got to make that happen. Because I think it's important that we carry on his legacy, but put it in print.
Read about it.
Right, and there's tons of things on the internet, and I'm impressed whenever I go do a search, but it needs to be in one book that we all can read. Right.
So again,
I even have the book title.
What's the title?
Let's call it "See You at the Top."
All right.
Love
that.
Yeah.
No, that was okay. Well, there you go.
I love that.
That was his slogan.
See you at the top.
Every chance you can.
Put a dollar in another black hand.
I'm loving this. Yeah. Well, you're on the Business Zone. We're having fun here. We're enjoying this, and we're celebrating Muhammad, and this is just a fine day. Mm-hmm. So give us a call, 323-293-3375, and join the conversation. And again, we want to thank Dr. Rosie for being on the show, and we're going to bring on our next guest. So you're on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. Take a break.
Okay.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop, and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
So we're back on the Business Zone with
Krista
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. We had a great guest here earlier, Dr. Rosie. She was cracking us up, man. This is amazing.
And now we have, which is actually an extension of Recycling Black Dollars, the phone referral service. So Muhammad wasn't playing. He had the resource guide. For those of you don't know anything about it, it's a listing of all black businesses, and then to keep the personal touch, he and Charles got together, Charles Brister, and they created 1-800-UNITE-US.
That's right.
So if you can't find it through the book, then you get on the phone and call Charles, right, Charles?
That's right.
1-800-UNITE-US.
And that's how. So tell us about your connection with Muhammad and how 1-800-UNITE-US came about.
Well, the way I found out is I heard about the meeting at Joshua's, right? And then I went there and I got pretty excited about what he was talking about, recycling black dollars, you know. And I know I myself had trouble looking for black-owned businesses. So I thought this was this great. And so he went around and he asked the people, stand up, talk about your business, right? And then it came my turn. He said, what business are you? I said, I don't own a business. I'm a consumer. Yeah. That's why I'm here. I want to spend my money with black-owned businesses. So that was my first introduction to the whole concept. And one of the things he talked about was the multiplier effect of the dollar. For instance, if I spend $10 with you, Crystal, and you spend 10 with Bobby, that dollar multiplied from $10 to $20. Right. So every time we change hands, that dollar multiplies. Right. And we know in other communities, like in the Asian community, it might change 9 times. Right. In our community, it might change after 9 hours.
Right. I think we're down to a whopping 6 hours now.
So it really makes a difference. Every time we spend a dollar, we're helping to feed somebody's family.
Right. We're
helping to feed somebody's family. We really are.
Put somebody to work. And
That's it. We're helping to create jobs every time we spend a dollar. And we spend $3 billion of those dollars every single day right here in America. $3 billion with a B. That's a whole lot of money.
Right, exactly.
That's more money than Canada spends.
Yeah.
Wow.
Black Americans spend more money than Canadians, right?
They actually say that we would be, if we were a country, we would be the 16th largest country far as spending dollars in the world.
That's right. And even Dr. King, he talked about that in his final speech, the Been to the Mountaintop speech. You sit down, listen to that speech, or read it there, and you'll see he'll make that same comment. And he talked about the importance of us spending money with us, supporting our own banks and our own insurance companies. And it's true more so now than ever.
Now, did you know Deborah Santos while you were there?
Oh, yeah, she's the reason I came to the second meeting.
Deborah, are you still on the line?
I think she hung up.
But it's interesting having known Charles all of these years and his commitment to adding something of value to the concept of recycling black dollars. And he mentioned that $300 billion. One of our major challenges is how to get the propaganda to the proper gooses. Because everybody just seems to understand that there is an inherent value in doing business locally. And somehow we have not made that connection to our well-being. And we almost look at each other adversarial when it comes to business. And we've got to find a way to change that narrative to the point where it's instinctive to give at least the first look at people, right around you, as opposed to just can't wait to get in your car and go and enrich somebody else's neighborhood, or allowing people to come into your neighborhood and take all the money out of it. It's like we get hit on both sides.
I experience a lot of what you're talking about, and I'm just wondering, because I'm really frustrated about it, I'm just wondering, how can we bridge that divide? How can we get them thinking differently? Charles?
In every war there's some casualties, right? A wise black man told me that. A millionaire black man told me that. Every war there's some casualties. There's some people you just can't convince.
You can't,
right? So you got to move on. So, because I might spend an hour talking to somebody, he just don't get it. And here there's 5 other people that's excited, willing to drive out their way to support black-owned businesses. So that's my main focus, is just to support the people that's already ready.
Right.
There's millions of us that are ready to support black-owned businesses. They just need to know where to go.
Those are the ones we want to reach. I think we've got
Deborah back on. Deborah, you back on the line?
Are you back on, Deborah?
I am. And Charles, thank you for that compliment.
Oh, yes, Deborah. Well, thank you for being there with your smart, beautiful self, throughout the years. It's always great to see you.
And I think, Gilbert, you're absolutely right. I think it's our young people now. Because a lot of our older people, even though we're soldiers out here still talking about what we're talking about, but one of the things that Muhammad, he galvanized people to him, but at that time, we were all younger. And so we heard the message, and it resonated with us. You guys went to meetings, and you were set on fire. I went to a meeting, and I was set on fire.
Right.
So I think that message, and that's one of the things I saw when I went to the Black Lives Matter. They had never heard of Muhammad Nassardeen.
Right.
They had not heard of recycling black dollars. They got it, but of course they were caught up in this side, because we can fight for social change, but what happens, because it's going to revert back. If there's no economic change, it's going to revert back. That right now, the only thing that they're fighting in Washington is, how do we keep our money? We'll change laws so you have no money, but we as the 1%ers, we're going to keep our money,
that's
right?
That's right.
So we need to be having this conversation and taking our wisdom and sharing it with the young college students, the young families that are struggling harder than we struggle, because it's a harder life to live now because it's so much more expensive, right? So,
see, one of the challenges that I have, and Crystal experiences as well because she's with me most of the time, I created a system called Small Biz Pro. It's a cloud-based system that helps small businesses to become organized. Okay. You got all your documents in one place. And the way in which I structure it, it's different than anything else out there. So if you need your financial, you know where it is. It's in cash flow management. If you need your marketing document, it's in business development and marketing. If you need your organizational document, it's in operations management. And your business planning and compliance, it's right there. So when I penetrate this community, trying to help these small businesses to become organized, because as you know, they go out looking for opportunities. The first thing they tell them, you're not organized, you don't have this document, you're not ready, I can't do business with you. So my thing is to get rid of that kind of the saying. I want to make sure they have everything they need so they're organized and they can go out. They can access this using their smartphone, their tablet from anywhere in the world.
Right.
A lot of these small businesses, they frown on it. They're going, how's that different than Google Drive? How's that different than Dropbox? I'm going, wait a second. And I'm showing them how it's different because none of those systems has anything like this.
Yeah.
And we're getting like big pushback on that.
But it's like Mr. Gar says, the white man, that man down the street, his ice is just colder
and last longer.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
The marketing part of it is really got to become a focal point, because sometimes you have to entice people in ways that you wouldn't do in a traditional business exchange.
Yeah.
But in our culture, you have to find a way, first of all, to get their attention, and then for them to perceive the value. Because at some point it comes down to, what will you spend your money on? And we've got to find a way to get through that mindset, wall that has been constructed between us and our dollars, and how because we as a people, we just inherently trust white people when it comes to business. And we are suspicious of each other when it comes to business. And we've got to really just get right to that and stay right there till we, eliminate that mindset that keeps us from doing business. I had a quick question for Deborah. Deborah, what are you doing in Atlanta these days?
I said Georgia. I didn't say Atlanta.
Oh, I thought you was in Atlanta.
Although I do a good bit of business in Atlanta. I live well on the outskirts.
Now, do you find it different, or since you were here in Los Angeles, as far as the exchange and the support of the black person's dollar, or is it different there?
I think it is. One of the things I do, I'm part of this share economy, so I do a lot of Airbnb consulting, and so I've organized a group of Airbnb hosts in Atlanta, and we've got about 200 hosts in our group. It's so multicultural. I would have expected Atlanta, the traditional chocolate city, but when we hold a meeting, it's interesting to see how collaborative blacks and whites are, and they meet around economics and a monetary benefit to each other. I haven't had that experience in virtually any other city. So I don't just see black empowerment. I see people going after economic empowerment, and they're willing to walk together,
right,
despite differences. And maybe because, in the South, maybe the racism has gone full circle. Not that it's ever gone, but maybe it's gone through the harsh, the hangings and the lynchings and things that maybe L.A. never had to deal with. L.A. dealt with racism, in a different flavor. Same meal, different flavor.
Quietly.
So, exactly. Very surreptitious, and you have to be able to break the code. And I think, the South has gone through that in-your-face racism, and so the people that don't want to deal with you just still don't.
Yeah, my mom used to say the one thing about the South, because she's from Alabama, was that you knew exactly where you stood. But when she came to California, she said you never know whether they're racist or not because they hide behind it. And then only when it gives the perception that you're about to take something from them, then you see it in its full glory. So you never knew. But George Wallace, you knew he was a racist, and you knew how to deal with that.
Exactly.
And that's what broke the back of segregation, was the economic part, not the social and moral theme that we really associate with the so-called civil rights movement. It was the economic piece of that. And same thing with the Negro Leagues, for example. We literally walked away from the blues, R&B, the Negro League, we walked away from thriving businesses with the hope that we could get in somebody else's arena and perform with the same success rate. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned the fact that you've been able to cross that racial divide, and that's a model of possibility because it's a reality. The one thing that will bring people together is an opportunity to do better.
Right. That's right. Make some money.
Exactly.
Now, Deborah, how long have you been there in Georgia?
Only 2.5 years.
Oh, so it's pretty short time. And
wow.
And you've seen all of these promising activities going on, huh?
I guess because, I organize this group, and I'm hosting this group. So we're coming together over economic empowerment.
Yeah, there's a common goal there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One of the things...
And I think... go ahead.
Deborah, I was just going to say, one of the things about our people is we're the only group in America that had our names and languages taken away. So it makes it harder for us to find each other, right? So somebody comes over here for Korea, all he has to do is look for the last name Kim, and he's set. Right?
Yeah, they do have a commonality, and then you go in their country and it's just them, right? They're not. It's not a diverse country.
That's right. So there's a linguistic reason for them to do economics, and then you look at the Jews. The Jews inculcate economics into the religion. For instance, if you're a good Jew, what kind of meat do you eat? Kosher meat. And you go to the kosher deli to get your kosher meat. So right there at an early age, you're learning the importance of supporting each other. And so, unfortunately, in the way our religion was taught to us, there was no economic component. It was just, you just be a good little Christian, and then when you die, you go to heaven. Right?
So that's a Jewish version of recycling black dollars.
Well, actually, they actually have what is it called? There's a 17-point principle that they operate.
Yeah, you were telling me about.
Yeah, and it's taught from the crib. And it talks about their money is portable.
Right.
It talks about supporting their own. It talks about building their own communities. It talks about education and how important that is, and then it talks about ownership and assets.
Right.
And it's actually 10 points. I can't remember. It's Melba Carter told me about the book, and it's an excellent book. I'll email it over to you guys. And so it's great. But it teaches them. It's like their Bible. Before they get to religion, this is the real philosophy of us as Jewish people, and then it steers back to money being portable. Money is portable because if they're about to take us and kill us, and go through the pogroms and what happened in Germany, we can pick up our money and leave. Right? We can pick up our diamonds and leave, and then we can take and transport ourselves somewhere else. And you see that's what happened when they took over Israel. They took their money with them and built up, and they take what they want. But it's all part of this principle that they have. We and us being the economics, because I was very curious, at the rise with Obama being president, and then Trump being the lunatic that he is, and it's like you have to ask yourself, we know we are no threat to anybody because we don't have nothing, right? So really, and are we going to really rise up? No, we're not going to be rising up with weapons and guns and shooting down nobody. Right? So we really, truly are ineffective when it comes up to rise up for our people. So my question was, why are they so fearful of us? I don't get it. What's the hatred? So I went back and did some research, and I found a book, the economic, I think it's called The Collective Economics. And so she goes in deep detail. And this book stemmed from a op-ed in the Washington Post. And she goes back that when the South realized that after slavery, that they lost within 1 month $25 million. They had to figure out another way because we're their econ. And they had to figure out another way to get us back in control. And that became the sharecropping. That became the Ku Klux Klan. That became the carpetbaggers, all of that. So it's still slavery. It just was a different name with a different coat, right? But it's still what it was. But it's all about money. It's about not that we our 1.2 trillion or 3 trillion keeps them alive, keeps them wealthy. We keep them wealthy. So, right? And so
you think about access to capital in businesses.
Right.
Access to capital is resources of all kind. And how well could you build your business if you had free labor?
Right, but they don't want you to have that free labor, right?
Well, that's what they had back then. That's why they were protesting and all that.
They have free labor, right?
So they're getting like 100% return on their investment.
Yeah, and America still does that.
It still does it.
Now we have the
cheap labor now.
We have the criminal justice system,
and that's there you go.
If you read the 13th Amendment, it says slavery's over except unless you're incarcerated.
Yeah. Then you're back and you're still their property.
You're a slave. So you look at a lot of the music. The music actually promotes criminal behavior, right? Some of the same people that own these record companies also have money invested in private prisons. One day, Muhammad and I and Khalid Shah, we decided to go down to Power 106 because they were putting a lot of this stuff over the air along with the N word and the B word, and so they didn't want to meet with us, and so we just got out there with the signs and cars started honking, and then they called us up, and then we sat down and talked to the management and expressed our concerns. And they said, well, it's a matter of free speech. And I said, well, look, there's certain things that you don't say on the air, right? There's certain things you don't say. For instance, if there was a song about two guys, gay guys from West Hollywood doing each other doggy style, would you put that on the radio? They got real quiet, and I asked them again, and they finally said no. I said, okay, see, you can if you want to, but you don't want to, so you don't do it. You do draw the line. But it seems like when it comes to black people, anything goes. Anything goes. Anything. That's the worst stuff that you can think of can be said as long as there's black people saying it about each other.
About each other.
And so then they asked the audience how they felt about the use of the N-word over the radio, and they found out that most of their audience didn't want to hear that word over the radio, so they stopped doing it.
Wow. I think I just read about that today. But see, those are the kind of things. But see, conscious people, and Muhammad was conscious, and Khalid was conscious, and those of you that were walking with Muhammad were conscious. But today, we don't have that many people that are conscious.
And the ones that are...
It's our job then to motivate more conscious people.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
We still carry the spirit inside of him. I mean, the reason I organized a group here where there wasn't one is because I learned that pulling people together and organizing from him.
Very good. And
if there's a market need, you don't wait for someone else. You do it.
That's so true. In fact, the spirit of Muhammad brought us here together today.
Well,
Can
I do a quick Airbnb commercial, because there is actually a racial perspective to it?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
So Airbnb put out a study in July. I am still a CPA and I still have clients, but I also do some Airbnb consulting. They put out a study in July that over their history, and they started in 2008, women have made $10 billion on Airbnb.
$10 billion?
$10 billion.
Okay.
$10 billion.
Wow.
Women tend to make the best hosts. Now, what I think people don't realize about Airbnb and don't know, there's been, over the last couple of years, issues of racism, because these are still people staying in people's houses. And so Airbnb, several months ago, did a partnership with the NAACP, a revenue-sharing partnership, to encourage more African-American hosts to participate in this pot of money. A year ago, they hired, a little over a year ago, they hired Eric Holder, former Attorney General, to be their legal counsel to help them in this. And in the last couple months, they brought on Danny Glover to kind of be the voice for Airbnb to encourage more African-American hosts. Because if there's more African-American hosts, there's more places for you to stay, and you won't randomly deal with the possibility of racism. But they're struggling to get African-Americans to participate in the share economy, which I think is interesting, because Bobby was talking about the Negro League. Well, back in the day when black people had no hotels to stay in, we let people stay in our houses.
That's right. That's right.
We innovated this. The only thing that has come along now is there's technology to, instead of someone, in New York writing a letter to stay in your house, somebody from China or Africa, it's all online. There's all this security and protection, and there's this great revenue source. But we actually kind of innovated Airbnb out of necessity of having rooms that Jackie Robinson stayed in people's homes because he couldn't stay in hotels. I'm getting really passionate about it because I am. But we innovated something that we now shy away from participating in the money aspect of it.
Yeah, that's so true, Deborah. So how do people get in touch with you if they want to find out more about the Airbnb?
I actually have a website. They could go to cohostguru.com.
Cohostguru.com, okay.
Yes, COHOST guru.com.
All right.
And those are actually the kind of businesses we need to be getting into, the freelancing gig. That is the trends of business right now. When you look at Grubhub, and I just recently spoke to someone is finding doing a service that's just for black restaurants, being able to deliver to black people. So those are the kind of things, and those entry points are easier to get in. You don't need a lot of capital. You go in together to buy a piece of property that you can lose. And somebody else recently told me, in the South, you can buy parcels, you can buy like 4 acres for $30,000. And those would be the kind of houses you could create your Airbnb, right, Deborah?
You don't even need that much. There's a guy in Atlanta that is renting a cot in his unfinished basement for $10 a night.
Wow.
There is a market for, and you can get a mansion. Jay-Z and Beyonce stayed in an Airbnb in San Francisco during the Super Bowl at $10,000 a night. There's a market all the way in that range.
Wow.
Well, we need to have those kind of conversations, because those are the kind of businesses our young people could actually start to, our millennial, they go to college, they work for someone, and then they become very disillusioned, and they're not making any money. Now is the perfect time to start training and teaching and exposing those individuals to, and even that makes sense for our older Americans, our seniors who have these big homes. That would be great for them.
Yeah, definitely.
We are fully in the gig economy, and I think we not necessarily steer away from teaching pure entrepreneurship in the traditional setting, but the gig economy, where you are this individual entrepreneur and you're open to various opportunities. I agree with you. I think the young people embrace that a great deal, but it's something for everyone. And we talk about, not having capitalization. Well, you already have a place you live in. I mean, you can Airbnb your sofa. The founders of Airbnb started because they couldn't pay their rent, and there was a conference in San Francisco, and all the hotels sold out, and they let 3 people sleep on air mattresses in their apartment on the floor.
Wow.
So you got to start from where you are, take what you have, and we are the best people in the world from knowing how to bootstrap from nothing and making something.
We truly are that.
You got that right. That is true.
Like Mary McLeod Bethune starting Bethune-Cookman College.
Yeah.
So, Deborah, I just went online, and you have a Facebook page, and it's an 800 number. Is that number how I can reach you?
That's me.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not going to give you my cell phone number.
Not on there.
Right.
Okay, well, I just wanted to be able to get in touch with you.
Yeah, we'll get with you later on that, Deborah.
Okay.
All right, Deborah. Well, thank you for calling in. You've shared quite a bit with us, which is really helpful. And now we're thinking about Airbnb.
And Deborah, if you go to our the Business Zone, actually you can see this show on YouTube. If you put your email, I'll make sure you get the full copy of the video.
I was streaming live until I was on the phone.
Oh,
okay.
Perfect.
Cool.
And spread the word. Spread the word with your other entrepreneurs, Deborah. Let them know about the Business Zone and what we're doing for small business, because this is global. This is not just Los Angeles based. It's global. We've got people from all over the world calling in.
I actually shared your link while we were talking.
Perfect.
I'm always happy to come together over business. I'm especially happy because we came together over the memory of my dear friend, colleague, champion for the cause, Muhammad Nassardeen.
Or as R.B. Stone called him, he said he never saw Los Angeles region as it is, but what it could be. And what do they call him? An economic activist?
Economic activist. That's
an economic activist, and that was from R.B. Stone and his whole purpose. And he still lives on in all of us. That's Anybody that he touched, he lived on. I think we just need to galvanize all of those that have been touched by Muhammad, and we need to make a change, but economically make a change.
That's right.
For sure. And Deborah, we'll see you at the top, okay?
And Deborah, we'd love to have you Skype. Yeah, we'll see you at the top. And we'd love to have you on the show to talk about the Airbnb. We can Skype you in.
Okay.
Okay, so reach out to me with your information, and we'll go to your website, and we'll make that happen for the first of the year. How's that?
That sounds great.
All right. Thank you, Deborah. Deborah DeSantos, ladies and gentlemen.
And we'll see you at the top.
See you at the top.
Be there.
All right.
Great hearing your voice, Deborah.
Yeah. You know, one of the things, one of the measures of a man is, or a woman, is how many people show up at the funeral.
Yeah.
And I remember going to the Faith Dome, and that's a huge place. And I don't know what the capacity is, but it was packed.
It was packed. It was
just all of us showing appreciation for the man.
And I hope I have more than 20 people showing up at my funeral.
he just touched so many people.
I know.
He brought so many of us together.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I said. Every time I meet someone, they have a Muhammad Nassardeen story, or they just had a conversation with Muhammad the day before or that morning.
Right.
So I think he definitely touched so many people in the years that 30 years that he ran RBD, started RBD. So he touched a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. I get calls at 1-800-UNITE US, people looking for the black businesses. But, more than a few times people will mention Muhammad. Say, I heard about you through Muhammad. Recycle Black Dallas,
So we have about 2.5 minutes left. How can we, at this table, pool our resources so that we can work together and get that resources out to the community, businesses, so they can flourish?
Simplify the message and have it such that it really takes root. Every chance you can, put another dollar in a black man's hand. It's more than symbolism at this point that's necessary, but we need to simplify the necessity of supporting one another such that it actually benefits you. And I think that's important. And a quick sidebar, Muhammad's real name was Muhammad Ali Nassardeen.
Right. Oh, somebody asked me that, and I didn't have an answer. They wondered
he was Muhammad Ali before Muhammad Ali.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually was. And in his spirit, it's important not only to lift up his legacy, but embrace the legacy as if it was your own. And I think that's what we had to do, is begin to impregnate each other with the spirit of risk-taking. And Marco used to always tell me, say, son, you ain't going to get nowhere unless you take a risk. We just like turtles. We ain't going to get nowhere unless we stick a neck out.
I found that out at high school dance. Wasn't getting no dancing.
Stepped over there and asked that young lady out. Huh? Yeah. You are absolutely right. If we don't step out of our comfort zone, then we're never going to make a change.
That's true.
Yeah. So
as entrepreneurs, we've got to be risk takers. And you can make calculated risk. You don't want to do unnecessary risk. You want to do calculated risk, but sometimes you just got to you may be backed in a corner, and the only way out is forward, and you got to take that risk.
That's it. Yeah.
So, we all got to think about that. I'm thinking that we had a great show here today.
Oh, we had a fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing in. And so Muhammad Nassardeen's birthday is November 16th. So we did a little early celebration, but everyone celebrate him and what he did and the spirit of us taking care of ourselves and creating that economic activism and ignite that in each and every one of us so that we can change this place. If not for yourself, then let's change it for our children and our grandchildren.
Well, I want to give you a lot of props, too, for being a true disciple of Muhammad. because every opportunity you get, you try to spread the word, you try to spread the mission and the purpose of this whole thing. And what I'm saying is, the point I made earlier is I really do think that we should try to work together in order to increase what you're doing and enhance it. Those outreach events, we got to do that. You mentioned, Bobby, the 10% discount. I think we should start reinforcing that again, the 10% discount.
Yeah, we actually had a sign that was you were almost like FDA qualified, right? Recycling Black dollars. And I think sometimes he channels. I hear him. Sometimes I hear him channel through me because I'll go, where'd that come from?
Charles, you're talking about us working together. Well, it made me think of Skip Cooper with the Black Business Association. He's got an event November 14th at Southwest College for people who want to get contracts with the government.
Okay, very good, very good.
So call 1-800-UNITE-US. I'll be glad to send you the information.
Okay.
Perfect.
Bobby, you got anything coming up?
This Tuesday, my show here at Morris Media Live will focus on the Purple Line and all of the incredible, that's over $1 billion worth of work in our community. And one of the things we have to do very quickly is understand that whether you own property or not, if you're a naturalized citizen of the United States, you pay taxes. And we've got to start acting like we have a stake in this community that's predicated by our sovereignty. And quit acting like we begging when they spending our own money. They just changed the gas tax. They went up on the gas tax 13 cents. That's our money. That just went from our pocket to theirs.
Right, exactly.
Well, one of the things I want to put out there to let small businesses and people in the community know that those propositions that you see show up on your ballot every election, it means that you're voting to tax yourself either 0.5% or some kind of percent. Therefore, you should get something back out of these projects. That's what these projects are out there for, to recompense you for all of the tax you're taxing yourself. So don't think that you shouldn't get involved in these projects.
Right. And you should read everything that you sign. You vote for, every proposition, and make sure you research whoever you're voting for, because those have a major consequence to you and your living in your community.
Every day.
Every single day. And this is what we have right now is a result of us not reading and not voting.
There's hundreds of billions of dollars that are going to be spent right here in L.A. County between the metro and the different government projects. And so one of the things I like for us to do is really pressure the high schools to bring vocational training back to the schools.
That's critical.
Oh, I think that's critical.
So that these students can graduate with some skills.
Definitely.
I'm sure you remember taking shop class and how much fun it was. You couldn't wait to get back to school. Right? And learn that skill.
That's a great point.
We need to bring that back.
Exactly. With that being said, we're a little bit over our time right now. And we just want to thank all the fabulous guests that we had on the show today. This was Crystal's day. So, Crystal, I'll let you lead us out.
So, we want to thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you continue to tune in to the Business Zone at MorrisMediaLive.com every Friday afternoon from 3 to 5, and we will see you next Friday.
We're out.
All right.
Okay.
Meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro.